All right, everyone. Welcome to the 24-hour podcast. My name is Todd Cochran, host of the Geek News Central podcast. This is a event that I do every year. We're in our fourth hour of our 24-hour show, and this segment is dedicated to talking about podcast networks and specifically the Wedding Podcast Network. I have Robert Allen on the phone. He is the director. Is that a good title for you,
Well,
Robert?
I have a lot of titles that I have for Wedding Podcast Network. Executive producer, co-founder. I'm the host, along with my wife, Holly, and we co-founded Wedding Podcast Network 4 years ago, and we're quite proud of what we've achieved over these 4 years.
I think we had you on last year too, didn't we?
Actually, this is my third year
Oh,
with
that's
you.
right.
I've
That's right.
been with you all 3 years here, and very happy that you've scheduled me again as a guest. I'm honored. I've met you a number of times at different podcasting events, and I'm glad I could be here to help support what you're doing for this 24-hour podcast.
Well, I thank you very much. And of course, what we are doing here is not only are we talking about a lot of cool stuff about podcasting, science, technology, and whatever else may come up in 24 hours, but we're raising money for the Ronald McDonald House Charities. Those of you that are watching on whichever site you may be watching us at now, if you come over to geeknewscentral.com, there is a hyperlink in the very top of the webpage to a PayPal account where we'll take your donations for Ronald McDonald House. Every dime that we raise from this event will be turned over to Ronald McDonald House Charities, and they're on Twitter at RMHC. So follow them, let them know that we're doing this event so that everyone knows we're on the up and up on board on all this. But so what's been happening with the Wedding Podcast Network over the last years, Robert?
Well, it's constantly evolving, and we're continuing to produce great original content, and really kind of setting the pace for those who choose to follow along in our footsteps, and do what they do. We've been working hard at this for 4 years. I come from a background in weddings of over 20 years. So the people that I've had relationships with and been lucky enough to work with through the years have all been very supportive of what we do, and have helped us by participating in our podcasts. We get tremendous feedback from our listeners, which we're so proud of. And it's really kind of put me in a position to kind of launch into other areas as well, in terms of new media, in having created the most successful wedding podcast network in the world. It's something that has enabled me to help others do this. And I know one of the things that we had wanted to talk about today was the idea of utilizing new media in different ways. And you're a perfect example of this in raising money for Ronald McDonald House through this effort. I think is a wonderful thing to do, first of all, but amazing that we can accomplish things like that through new media, through the online space. And just a couple of years ago, this would have just been a dream to be able to communicate in this way. So it's a very exciting place to be right now.
When I was a kid, everyone watched the muscular dystrophy telethons with Jerry Lewis would be on, and that event was always an annual event that a lot of people would tune into, and I always watching that event. And I always like watching Jerry get more frazzled as the 24 hours would go on, and of course
Right.
they would raise millions and millions of dollars for folks suffering from MS. And my thought process when I developed this concept of doing this show once a year was not necessarily to be frazzled and razzle dazzled like Jerry Lewis was or is, but I get a lot of benefit all year long from doing this media. I feed my family, keep the lights on, get opportunities to speak to people. So there's a lot of take throughout the year. And this event is kind of my way, my small way of giving back a little bit from what we can generate in revenue for Ronald McDonald House and the other charities we've had before. Last year we did it for veterans. And all told, whatever the dollar amount is what the dollar amount is, and it's worth whatever we're able to raise during the time. But I think anyone that is doing anything in any type of a public arena, um, if they're not giving back, then shame on them. They're not doing what they're supposed to do, and especially this in this season where we're suffering severe economic times for a lot of people, and budgets are really, really tight. Every dime we can help out to worthwhile charities is good. Now, I understand you've been doing a little bit on this, or maybe a lot. What have you been
Yeah,
doing?
well, I'm doing a little bit of a lot, actually. I've got two projects. Well, one client of mine and one community project that I helped spearhead, in which we use the online environment to raise significant amounts of money. And it was quite an interesting study in this using this technology in the nonprofit world. And I have to tell you, it's something that very few nonprofits are incorporating, but it's growing every day. Nonprofits are realizing that they need to be in the online space. Traditionally, this would be very, very foreign to them, and they wouldn't venture in. But we had a project here locally where we're trying to build a skate park in the community. We have a very dangerous situation in the community where skateboarders are skateboarding where they shouldn't be skateboarding. They're skateboarding in parking lots and in shopping plazas. There have been some accidents, nothing too serious, but we don't want to have to wait till there is a serious accident by one of these skateboarders before we build a park in memorial to one of the skateboarders that lost their lives. So I've spearheaded this project and getting it done, and we had a very unique opportunity just about a year ago when the township in which we live decided to change all of the street signs in the township. And they were going to turn the street signs over to us, and we would scrap them, and then we would have the money in return for the scrap metal. And when I had heard of this offer, we were certainly very grateful to have that money, which would have amounted in about $8,000, including the old poles that were gathered as well. And I had the idea of auctioning them off on eBay
Oh, cool.
and to raise money. And through an organization which is part of eBay called eBay Giving Works, we were able to get approved on eBay Giving Works, and we had an auction of approximately 1,100 street signs with a photograph of every sign up on eBay. And we had a total of two online auctions, and we raised a little bit over $40,000 in the two online auctions for the building of the skate park. And it was because of that that we were able to then achieve that goal.
That's an amazing amount of money. And you know what? I
Yeah.
bet what happened was people that lived on those streets started bidding against each other for those signs, didn't they?
Well, that's exactly what happened. There were some streets in the township that had, a number of signs, 4, 5, or 6 signs, and then there were some streets that had one. There were some
Right.
streets that had none. They had, disappeared.
Right.
But with the highest bidder for a single street sign bid, I believe it was about $330 for a single street sign.
Oh, that's
Uh,
amazing.
yeah, yeah. So it, it was funny because the township council was against the idea at first because they didn't think it would be fair. They wanted everyone to line up outside of the community center and walk through and buy signs. And I told them, you're out of your mind if you think that that's a more fair way of doing it, other than an auction of some type. You're dreaming. And they didn't think it could be done. And we as a committee were able to pull it off. As I mentioned, eBay Giving Works on eBay is a fabulous option for organizations that are looking to raise money, in which they can directly sell their merchandise. In this particular case, it was street signs, but let's say it was some sort of memorabilia from a celebrity or a sports figure. You could direct sell that as a participant in eBay Giving Works, and 100% of the proceeds would come to the charity.
Yeah, very smart. So you
Yeah.
really then what would have been a small amount of money for recycling, you turned into a cash bonanza, and people have
Yeah.
those street signs. Now, what did you guys use? What did you end up using the money for then?
It went right to building the skate park, which will happen this spring.
Well, that's good.
Due to that, so we were able to, in all total, raise close to $100,000 for the skate park effort to have this park built. And it was great. I mean, people loved the idea of being able to buy the street signs, and we gathered tons of stories. There was a blog. We had a blog for the sale, so we kept people up to date. We actually had a live webcast via Ustream for the start of the auction. So we were reporting the first hour of bidding live, and then we did the same thing at the end of the auction, where we closed out the last 2 hours of the auction, and we reported live to our viewers just what was going on. So it was a tremendous project. The town really, got behind it. Everyone came out. It was a huge undertaking to try and sort through these street signs, which are quite heavy.
Yeah.
You don't realize it, but they're quite heavy and a lot bigger up close than they look up on the pole there.
Now, how did you work the legalities? Did you guys, normally when people see a street sign in your house, they think you've stolen it. So how did you guys work that?
Well, once the street signs were turned over to us by the township, they became our property. Until then, they were the property of the township. And what was happening is there were a total of about 1,400 street signs in the township, of which we got 1,100. So somewhere in there, those other signs went missing. And what was happening was, as the company who was changing over the street signs, it wasn't a town, it was a separate company. What they would do is they would take down the old signs and leave them at the base of the pole. Then they'd move down to the next corner, take down those signs, and they would do the whole block. So if it was a long block, it may be 2 or 3 hours before they got back to the beginning to start installing the new signs. In the interim, people would see the signs on the ground, figure they were garbage, and then pick them up and take them. So there are a few hundred signs in the middle there that kind of got lost. And some people were obviously upset that their signs weren't there. And we said, well, check your neighbor's backyard. Maybe you'll find them
Or better yet,
in there.
check their garage.
Exactly. And there were certainly stories like that.
Yeah.
But it was great. People really loved it. They bought them for all kinds of reasons. We have a lot of streets in town that are named for universities, people's names. They were buying. There was one person that came in that bought the two signs that she remembered on the corner of her house, the intersection, and she used to climb the pole, and touch the signs. And she bought those two signs for her kids, to have. There were all kinds of memories. There were, memories of there was a couple. A man came in and bought Maplewood Drive, so it was Maplewood DR. His wife just opened up a medical practice in Maplewood, New Jersey. So the sign to him read Maplewood Doctor. And he bought that for his wife. So there were all kinds of stories that we heard of why people were buying the signs. And we decided to have two auctions because we knew we had a 7-day auction, and we knew that within minutes of that auction ending, we were going to get emails. Oh, I missed it. I just heard about the auction. How do I get the signs now? And sure enough, it was about 20 minutes after the auction ended, and we got our first email. I missed the auction. I was in a cave for the last 7 days and didn't know about, and this was publicized, widely beforehand.
Right.
So what we did was about a month and a half later, we had a second auction. I mean, all the items were already in eBay. It was easy for us to relist them. And then we had gotten our hands on more signs there were some signs that were double backed, and we took them apart. We created more inventory. But it was a huge success. People really got behind it. And it kind of brings me to what I was thinking about and wanted to talk about here was, um, I think people don't mind giving money to a
Yep.
charity
Yep.
if somehow, some way, they can get something in return,
Right.
whether it be information or a souvenir or something
Right.
in return. And that's what we found with people be willing to bid so much money for these pieces of scrap metal, essentially.
Yeah,
Was the
that's
fact that they were doing something good, but they were getting something in return.
well, that makes sense. That's maybe something I should incorporate into this event maybe next year is have something that we could give back for a minimal donation. Kind of do the NPR style. You donate $100, you get a CD or something like that. We haven't done
Exactly.
that
Or
in
a
the past.
commemorative T-shirt.
Right. Right.
The fourth annual 24-hour podcast.
Yeah.
You get someone to donate the T-shirts and the silk screening of them, and then you sell them, and the money goes. And people, won't mind that,
Right.
$15 or $20 for the T-shirt if they
Yep.
know that, it was going to the charity.
Yeah. So what is this the one of the main projects you've done, or have you done anything additionally in this vein, or?
Well, I do a lot of new media consulting now as a result of Wedding Podcast Network and its success. And one of my clients is a very big charity out of New York City that benefits police and firefighters. And I do all of their new media consulting. I take care of their blog. I do their podcasts. Everything new media related. I manage their Facebook fan page. I manage their Twitter accounts. Um, so I handle all of their new media. And for a very long time, this particular charity depended a great deal on um, on having um, money come in through Wall Street. And as their Wall Street's not what it used to be. And this particular charity relied very, very heavily on having support of Wall Street. And suddenly, over the last 16, 17 months, that has gone away. And that's why they decided to bring me in to build their public persona. They were known very well in the corporate world as a very worthwhile charity, but to the general public, they were almost unknown.
Right.
So they wanted to build their presence on the internet via new media, and that's why they brought me in to work with them.
Well, I was just showing everyone someone in the chat had mentioned that we had a 24-hour podcast sign, and I had just flashed it up on the screen there real quick. It hasn't been, the camera doesn't do real well with it because it's so bright it whites out, but someone said, well, Todd, how much would people give for your 24-hour podcast sign? And I thought,
There you go.
there's an idea for sure. So,
Yeah, you have to really get creative in the nonprofit space these days. And, studies show that a very small percentage of giving worldwide is done by corporations or funds of any kind. A majority of all donations that are given worldwide are given by the individual from
right.
the private sector. So I think, and also studies have shown that in recessions, charitable giving drops off very little.
Yep.
There really isn't a huge impact on charitable giving because people inherently are good.
Yep.
Let's face it, don't get me wrong, there are a lot of bad people out there. And, I've unfortunately run into a few of them. But by and large, people want to give. There are a few, and I've been made aware actually personally of some situations where people claim that they're giving money from something to charity,
Mm-hmm.
and then don't actually follow through.
That's
with that.
right.
And I think that is probably one of the biggest crimes, if you will,
Yep.
in the charitable giving world is when people try to scam you. They try to get you to give money and think that saying a portion of the proceeds are going to go to a particular charity, and then nothing goes, or a few pennies
Yep.
go to the charity, and it's just another scam.
That's why we try to have some sort of a confirmation, either an email or someone call from the charity or a copy of the check, or I don't know. We try to do some sort of a verification. That's why I tell everybody this year, make sure you follow Ronald McDonald House Charities, RMHC, on Twitter. Let them know we're doing this event. They'll know there's a check coming. So yeah, that's one of the things
Yeah,
we
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah, so you have to be careful. There are ways to actually check a charity online,
right,
and all nonprofits need to make their financials available for review,
right.
and you're entitled to see that. So if you are giving to a nonprofit, and typically, that's where most charitable giving happens. You can go online and you can check the validity of that particular organization and how they use their money and how much of it goes to the charity. We've all been solicited
Yep, sure
on
have.
the phone for money. You know, and I think the one thing that people don't ask is how much of this dollar that I'm going to give
Mm-hmm.
goes to the charity.
And that is
And if
it.
you
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
It's
and if you're dealing with a service, a professional paid solicitor, they're getting probably the majority of the money.
mm-hmm. And another thing too is most of the good charities will list their 70-30, 80-20, 90-10, whatever it may be, the percentage split is going to those charities. Some of them don't. And that's why this year I had Ronald McDonald House Charities kind of in my back, my mind to do. And I was researching a couple of other charities as well. And I thought, nope, I don't like these other two. And it's usually the big national ones are pretty safe to give to. And, I've had a personal experience. My family's had a personal experience with Ronald McDonald House. We know how valuable their services are, and was the reason why we went with them this year. Well, we've got about 3 minutes left, Rob. What's going on Wedding Podcast Network? Tell everyone, give them the 411 and what
Oh
services you
gosh,
make
well,
available.
we're of course internet media for wedding planning, a majority of which are audio podcasts. We do quite a bit of video now. As a matter of fact, one of our last podcasts was a video podcast with director of artistry at Bobby Brown Makeup here at one of her locations, which was great, very well received, being downloaded quite a bit. We're very happy about that. We have a recap show coming, recapping all of the great things that we did throughout the year. And we've got lots of exciting things happening in 2010 that we encourage everyone to check out weddingpodcastnetwork.com. And it's not just for people getting married. We've got fitness programming, we've got relationship programming, stuff for just the guys, a whole wealth of things, and many more exciting things that I can't disclose right now because we want to keep them as a surprise.
Of course, that's how things always gotta have that element of surprise. Now, I see the fireplace in the background. Those who've been watching
Yes.
on UStream, is that a real fireplace, or is that one of those
Well,
gas
what do you
ones?
think?
I think
Do you
it's
think
real.
it's
It
is
looks
it?
real,
It looks real. It's I can feel it.
or
Some
is or
people,
is or is that a green screen?
might fake this shot. Do you, do you think we're faking it
I
or
don't
not?
know.
Let me
I
see. You know what? We'll see. Just stay with me here.
Okay. Oh, it's real. It is real, and it is a real fireplace. See, I was wondering, you know, it looked real, but boy, I was having a hard time saying, is that green screen or is that the real?
Now, how is that
Vi-
for a green screen
that
effect?
is
Is
the
that good?
ultimate green screen. That is the real deal there.
Well, listen, that's the one thing that we're most proud of with Wedding Podcast Network is that we are the real deal. We are as authentic as you can get. There's no, what you see is what you get. There's no pretense here.
Right.
We truly love what we do. And we're very proud of what we've accomplished with lots more exciting things coming down the line.
Well, thanks for spending some time with me, and good luck with your next coming year. And look forward to seeing your exciting announcements. Just make sure you email me and let me know what you got cooking.
Well, you'll always be in the loop. We've we've been so happy to be a part of this for the third year with you. I always admire your ability to stay ahead of the curve,
I'm gonna
which
try.
I really like. So,
You know what it really is?
but
You want the secret?
yeah,
I
please.
just copy everyone else.
Well, listen, I know about that. But congratulations on everything you've achieved, and you should be very proud of what you're doing here.
Hey, thanks so much, and say hello to your audience for us, and take care, and
I will.
we'll see you
I
next
will.
year.
And I'll check back in with you at some point in the next 20 or so hours.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably gonna need help about 17 hours from now, but okay. All right,
Well, hang
everybody.
in there. Okay.
That was Robert Allen from the Wedding Podcast Network at weddingpodcastnetwork.com. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to kind of change gears. We're 30 minutes away from our, I guess what you would say, our first special event of the 24-hour podcast. Every year, the Tech Podcast Network does a Christmas special. And that Christmas special, really, all it is members from the Tech Podcast Network community coming in and sharing what they think are going to be the must have items. Now, if you've done all your Christmas shopping already, man, I hope we're not going to hurt your credit card today, because I think the guys have got some stuff lined up where they're going to want to really kind of, share with you, the good items that they think they're going to be at the top of the list. Now, what I have to do on my end is just a couple of minor things. We're the 20 the Christmas special is sponsored by GoToMeeting. It is a longtime sponsor of that event. We actually do a simulcast screencast for that, so where I basically have um, a GoToMeeting session going on, and the majority of that 1 hour event will be spent in a screen mode where we actually share the screen of each presenter. Don't know how we're going to completely work everything today, because I'm juggling audio here, but I may have to. Yeah, I think I'm going to be okay. We'll see how the audio comes through. I'm worried about all the patching going on. Um, Andy and Jeffrey, I don't know how we had planned on. Jeffrey, are you going to just remain connected via? Are you just going to call in on the uh, on TalkShoe, or are you going to just use the connection on GoToMeeting? Are you online right now? I don't think he is. So we may actually have the guys come in via Skyposaurus too, or Ohanasaurus. So we'll see how that works out. That's something that we really hadn't talked about in the beginning. I think I've got everything patched, although earlier I didn't hear any music. I'm going to put some music on for just a few moments as I get a couple of the machines ready for the event. Who was that? Well, I guess we didn't have. I thought I heard somebody. Let me go ahead and put some music on for a few minutes as I'm prepping for this event. Then we can chat up until the launch of the event. So give me a few minutes here.
Welcome to GoToMeeting. Online meetings made easy. You are the first caller. You will be placed on hold until the next caller arrives.
Test 1 2 1 2. Testing 1 2 1 2. Okay, think I'm very close here to hey Andy and Jeffrey. We've got the go to meeting session is up and online, so just thought I'd let you know that. And if you guys want to join in there, you can do so. So we're waiting for these guys to join. We'll see how well this works out. Can be a bit of a challenge here, switching modes here, because of all the stuff that's set up for one mode, and then we're going to go into a pure presentation mode. It can be a bit of a challenge, and you guys see here, I've got a little bit of I don't have enough inputs, so part of the inputs are going to be sent over a very inexpensive Logitech headset that's tied to my microphone. Of all places. And for those of you that want to know, that song is called, that CD that you're just listening to is from Darren Leong, and it's For the Greater Good. And Mom is telling me that the donate button is hard to find on the website. Let's see if I can fix that here. I heard someone ding in. I hope I'm not. Hey, Andy, is that you? Hey, Andy, are you up on in the GoToMeeting session?
Get my mic plugged in.
I can barely hear you.
Yeah, should be on. Should be on now. Coming on the GoToMeeting audio channel.
Yeah, very, very weak, Andy.
Okay, that's cranking about as high as I can go right now.
Oh, man.
Okay, I hear you. Let me go ahead and mute you on the other monitor here. And now, yeah, I'm hitting it absolutely 9 bars and almost flat topping here on the GoToMeeting side of things.
Hmm.
I'm hearing you well.
All right. See what I can do.
Okay.
Maybe that's a
Yeah,
little
I
better.
certainly enjoyed having a chance. I'll give you a little bit of audio here to work with.
Hey.
I certainly enjoyed having a chance to hear part of Rob's discussion and also part of the discussion that you had from a selection of charities. And I thought that was a green screen. I was amazed to see that was a fireplace. It was very realistic.
Yeah. Hey, those of you on the stream, how are you guys hearing Andy?
Oh, you're way flat topping now.
I've turned my volumes all the way up, and I'm having to feed the system a little different today, and
Okay.
but I've got everything cranked as high as I can crank it on my side. Hang on, let me try a little more here.
Okay, I can certainly call in on the talk to you connection if that would be a little bit better for us.
No, because I wonder if you dialed into the standard GoToMeeting session, if that would work better.
Let me go ahead and put on. I'll in GoToMeeting. I'll select use telephone and I will dial into that bridge.
All right, let's see how that works. Okay. Or if push comes to shove, we'll bring Andy in on the Skyposaurus line. Or Hanosaurus.
Conference is scheduled to be broken down automatically in
5
minutes. To extend the time by 60 minutes, press star 8.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, he's going to come in on the other line, and we'll see what. Hey, Jeffrey, just click on the link in the blog, and it's there. So, yeah, if you're just joining us, we're getting ready, prepping here for our Christmas roundtable. We've had to switch gears a little bit. And as you guys, well, some of you, we haven't brought up the screencast yet. I'll do that here in a few minutes when I'm ready to flip it over. And Jeffrey, did you find the link? Oh boy, it's waiting for me to arrive. How am I gonna do this? Okay. Let me think about this for a second. All right, I'm gonna switch gears for a second. I'm going to have to switch over here. Hang on. I don't know if the TalkShoe connection will stay open. I think it will. I'll be right back. Hey, Andy, are you in now? What I've had to do here is hang up TalkShoe. I don't know if that has left the TalkShoe folks high and dry. I guess we'll find out here in a second. Well, it's just atypical for I can't talk. Whoever's calling me on Skype. Hey, Jeffrey, did you try dialing in the other way?
I can't find the link.
The link is in the blog. And Andy isn't coming into the dial-in line yet. I had to.
Yeah, he switched. He said he was going to go upstairs and switch to a different phone. I don't see it in the. Which blog are we talking
the
about?
Tech Podcast blog.
Oh, I'm looking on Geek News Central.
Yeah, it's not in there. Now there was somebody. Let me turn these chimes on. Okay, I'm going to beep in your ear here, so.
Entry chimes are off.
Sorry
Exit
about that.
chimes are off.
Oh, boy. Well, we can hear you real good, Jeffrey.
Thank you.
Yeah. May have Andy call on Skype. That might be the best way. Who else was going to present today?
Oh, we can always share the screen.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You want to do it that way, or?
I don't know. We'll just see if Andy can get in.
I suppose we have the sponsorship to worry about, though.
It's not a big deal. I'm going to be taking my sponsorship stuff down anyway for this.
Okay.
I don't see your video. Do you have video turned off?
Yeah, I have it turned off. I was just gonna.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
This was the only TalkShoe I tried to connect back to TalkShoe, and it said it wasn't. The meeting wasn't no longer in session,
Or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, there's Andy.
It's either that or a cell phone.
Hello, gents.
Hey, Andy, we hear you. Let's see here. Let's do a sound check, Andy. Go ahead.
Okay. Yes. Let me go ahead and mute you on the Ustream, which I'm observing on one of the boxes here.
Yeah,
I'm hearing.
that's much better.
I'm hearing you fine. I haven't heard Jeffrey in there yet.
That's because I'm over on Skype.
Oh, okay. I'm hearing you fine on whatever audio is coming back to me.
Jeffrey, don't worry. He can. It's a multitasking thing. So,
let me try. I'm still trying to find this. There we go.
I may have to dial into Skype to keep the talk show thing alive. I'm juggling all kinds of stuff here. So, this is proving to be fun here. So let me see if I can do this without totally screwing this thing up.
I'm gonna hang up with you because I'm going to go into GoToMeeting now.
Oh, you're going to try to go in that way? Okay.
Yeah.
You can stay this way. It'll stay patched in. If you want to stay this way, you can do it this way too. So it's up to you.
I might feedback for a second here, so hold on. I'll put the volume low.
Okay.
I've got a bit of a delay coming this way on the video, so I'll.
Oh yeah, don't even look at the video.
I'm not going to watch that.
Yeah, don't even watch the video because it'll totally screw you up.
Actually, I've seen some delays between what comes up on the Ustream and what appears on Gig News Central, and it's a little bit different from from the embed that I have on STR News. So I'm not sure what's going on here.
Well, I think it's all based on the the ongoing concerns we would have with any type of a stream, especially when it's being sent multiple places here. Let's see if I can get the TalkShoe line back up. I'm pushing my luck here. Yeah, I'm really pushing my luck. Let's see what happens. If this can actually, if this will actually work. Go ahead.
This is also unusual in that usually I'm listening to you on VoIP,
right?
Where I've got really good audio from both of you, and what I'm hearing now is telephone quality audio, which is going to be kind of a change for us.
Right.
Why don't you switch over to audio on Skype, or is that what you're doing?
We could hardly hear Andy on Skype when he called in.
Really?
Yeah, and also when I was in through the GoToMeeting audio through the Eterol interface, I was showing here of actually hitting it very hard and flat topping, and you guys could just barely hear me.
Yeah, it was really odd. I don't know why it was so low. But I hear you fine right now, Andy. I hear you like really good. You're right with the levels where we're going to need.
Okay.
So, and everyone's patched.
Nothing if not flexible.
Yeah, I guess so. And I'm in the process right now of I'll bring up the screencast here in a second. So
I'm looking at your GoToMeeting stream here.
Yeah, those of you that are watching watching the stream here, TalkShoe is probably going to be offline until this event is over. I don't foresee that line coming back on until I'm done with this event. I just don't have enough pukas to make it happen because I had to dial in. It was the only way I could get Andy into the call because someone had to come in as the start the session for the live event. So we'll get the TalkShoe line up at the end. We'll take individuals' questions via chat. If they're on the voice, if they actually join the GoToMeeting session, they can actually participate that way too.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That might be another way that they could join in.
Yeah.
And people who had been on TalkShoe could join the bridge on GoToMeeting.
Yep. So, very smart. I can push this over here. Oh, that's nice. All right, let me go over here and move that into that screen. And I want to show screen of monitor 2 in the GoToMeeting session.